All right, we're here. The second episode of the Shoot Your Shit podcast with Jesse Mastropasqua. I'm joined today by a friend of mine, Dominic Renda. Dom, how are you?
Good, you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for coming. Thanks
No
for being
problem.
here. So, today in this podcast, what I wanted to kind of go over is an artist that both of us really enjoy their work. Someone who's recently announced retirement, someone who's personally
Biracial.
been, yeah, someone who's biracial, exactly. Someone who's personally been a great influence on my life. We're going to be talking about Logic, Sir Bryson Hall II. So, how did you meet? How did you sort of get introduced to Logic?
I discovered them through the Phase videos, actually, like their montages.
The phases in the Face Clan videos?
Yeah, like they would do montages, of their shots, right? Their trick shots. And I was watching one of them, and I think it was Young Jesus or something. And I was like, shit, that's actually really good. And I went in the description, I saw the song, and I started listening to like that whole album, and I went from there.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, do you
You?
have for me personally, I got introduced to Logic. Oh, I knew of his music beforehand, but I never listened to it regularly until 1-800 came out. I'm one of those guys who came in at 1-800. You know those guys. But it's whatever. I was sort of captivated by the message of 1-800, and it kind of made me go back and listen to everything from Young, Broken, Infamous all the way to present day. But yeah, that's how I got introduced to it. For me personally, 1-800 came out at a time. It came out a little earlier, but I had started listening to it more regularly at a dark place in life, so I resonated with it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, every the typical story. You listen to something, it catches your ear, and you go back and fall in love with the artist, basically, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty much it for me. But today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Notably, I wanted to go over, because we're both fans, I wanted to go over our favorite projects of his and why they're our favorites. Then I wanted to kind of delve into our favorite tracks that don't necessarily have to be a part of that project. They can just be from his entire discography. And I want to conclude with a little bit of a talk on his latest album, his final album, No Pressure.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so my favorite project of his as a whole is Welcome to Forever. Like, I
Okay.
just find every single track on that song is just like a 10 out of 10 for me. My favorite being The High Life, which I found really cool because like he wrote it from a perspective where he's still used to being underground, but he's kind of like learning like the famous lifestyle. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I think he has the line of like, all these people look at me like, what the fuck I'm doing here? And I don't know, like, I just find it fucking like crazy. And his flow throughout the whole mixtape is just really good. Roll Call, where he uses the beat by Outkast,
Mm-hmm.
and he killed it. Another one, 5 a.m., which was, I think, one of his most popular songs ever. Man of the Year, and Ballin'. Those are my favorite ones.
Classic.
Yeah.
I actually one of the tracks I was talking to you about that I heard of before knowing who Logic was. I played a lot of Need for Speed back in the day, and Balling was on Need for Speed 2014.
Yeah, that song was used a lot, and like I had a couple friends who knew that song but didn't know who Logic was.
Right. I think it was also used in Madden at some point, in one of the Madden games. I don't remember which one though.
Oh, that I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well,
How about you? What's your favorite project?
My favorite project, I keep flipping because I'm never decisive. I'm one of those people who enjoys all of his projects. I certainly have my favorites, but it always flips between The Incredible True Story and Under Pressure.
Okay.
I'm always flipping between the two because Under Pressure is a deep dive into what his life was like, and it's sort of a celebratory album, the same way Welcome to Forever is. It's like it's like the start of the next chapter in his life, which I really, really loved. But I'm also fascinated by the storytelling and the concept of the album for The Incredible True Story. So I keep flipping back and forth. And to me personally, both those albums are 10s out of 10s. That's why I keep flipping.
Depends the mood, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm always flipping between Under Pressure and The Incredible True Story. But a lot of the times it's The Incredible True Story comes at my top.
When you think of both albums, which like track comes first to mind?
When it comes to The Incredible True Story, the standout track for me, the one that I listen to on repeat all the time, is Intermission.
That's a good one.
Intermission's probably up there as one of my favorite tracks from him. It's a vibe. The flows are crazy. I love the storytelling in the second verse.
That's one thing I love about Logic. Like, as much as he has the reputation for rapping fast, he can make some really good slower paced songs like Intermission.
Right, exactly. I don't know, it's an incredible song. And there's so many others in this album that I just find like 10s out of 10s. Like City of Stars is incredible.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Never Been is personally one of my favorites, which I think not a lot of people listen to as often as they should be.
Oh, I had that one on repeat at a point.
Yeah, I still have it on repeat to this day.
I love Paradise too.
Paradise is great. Run It is great. Stainless is amazing.
Now we're just naming the whole album.
Yeah, the whole album's a 10 out of 10 for me personally. Yeah. I love the whole album. I love the concept. I love the storytelling. Actually, this brings up a good point. Everybody, the album, the third album, for me personally, like that album is a monumental album in his discography because it's so different from what he's used to talking about.
Yeah.
And regardless of the fact that I personally, like I can't relate to the subject matter he's talking about, not everything, right? I relate to anxiety, but aside from that, it's out of my realm because I'm a white boy, right? So I think one
everyone can relate to is Most Definitely, right? Where he just talks about like the education system and like life and how we're all expected to just follow this one path.
Yeah, exactly. There are a few tracks that you can relate to, but I don't necessarily relate to the whole album. But that doesn't mean like I don't like the album. I still love the album. What made me really love the album was the skit at the end of Africarian, where it relates to like a sort of epilogue to The Incredible True Story.
Yeah,
that for me like solidified like that I loved that album. So any sort of connection to The Incredible True Story just like gives the album an extra point for me.
I really like the whole thing with Adam too, and like the egg theory. Like I don't know if you know this, but like the whole thing where we are everybody, and like I'm sure you know what I'm talking about is actually it's a pre-existing theory that's called the egg theory.
It's amazing. His storytelling, like I've never heard of it before that point, but the way he tells the story is just it like makes you not necessarily believe it, but it makes you want to sort of question it and believe it and get the information, the knowledge from it. I really
for sure gives you a different view on life, where every bad action you do unto someone, you're doing unto yourself. Every good action you do, you're doing unto yourself.
And there's always subtle clues that really like bring out the specialty of this album, like the fact that he named the main character Adam, which is amazing because it's like a reference to Adam and Eve, and Adam was like the first human ever born, or the first male human ever born.
Yeah.
Or made.
It all relates to the original message, peace, love, and positivity.
Exactly. It's phenomenal. I love it. I love all of his work, but Incredible True Story is at the top.
You appreciate how much work goes into it.
Exactly. That's the highlight for me. Is all you can tell like he puts everything into these albums.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And even his mixtapes too, you can tell he puts everything into those. I mean, Undeniable is probably to most people considered his best work because it's just bars on bars.
Oh yeah, he's been putting everything into his work.
I mean, every album has something special to it. You know, some albums are like thought provoking. Others are all about the message. Others are all about the writing, the concepts, all of that. So it's what he has a
He's very
genre
versatile.
for everything. Yeah, for everyone. It's incredible. But with that being said, we can go on to our favorite tracks. I have quite a lengthy list of favorite tracks. I've narrowed it down a little bit. But I kind of want to start off with you. Do you have an all-time favorite track?
My all-time favorite track, even though I said Welcome to Forever was my favorite project, as a standalone track, Soul Food is my favorite. Like just the lyrical wordplay and just the flow and the beat switch up. It's just I listen to it at least like once a day. Not even joking.
Yeah, it's a great track. I mean, even the second half, which is, you know, less about well, I guess not necessarily less about the message, but you can tell like the first track is
the first one is more about his life, and the second one is more not flexing, but
not necessarily flexing, but yeah, but even the second half, just like it's a song that's made for two different genres and and people who enjoy one or the other can appreciate the whole song, right?
Yeah, and he fused it so well.
Yeah, it's a great track. It's also one of my favorites from that album too.
Yeah. How about you? Your favorite standalone track?
My favorite all-time standalone track is very hard to narrow down. I narrowed it down to 3, and that's Common Logic / Midnight Marauder.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it's just a classic. It's like it's I call it the end of the era chapter, you know, at the end of the era song. Then there's also Intermission, which I mentioned before, featuring Lucy Rose, and 1-800, mainly because of the time it came out and where I was and what it did for me, which, you know, I'll cherish and appreciate to this day.
You know, that's actually his personally like least favorite song, like by himself.
Oh yeah? I didn't know that.
He said that in an interview. But he said it's because it's his most popular song.
Right, because
it's weird how he explained. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can go under the assumption. I know a lot of people within the Rat Pad community tend to like kind of give that song a little bit of shade because it's like considered a radio hit, and it's, you know, it's not the only thing he's known for. But I don't necessarily see it as a radio hit. I see it as a song with a message that had the power to change lives, you know?
Yeah, for sure. If like he didn't make a made for radio song, less people would hear it.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily his best track, but I do think it's one of my favorites for the reason...
One of his most important tracks.
Yeah, exactly. For the reason that the message is so important and that it resonated with me and all of that.
I think it was in the Genius interview, he was talking about it, and he was talking about like how before he made the song, like fans would come up to him and be like, yo, you saved my life, like if it wasn't for you, I'd kill myself. And he's like, I wasn't even trying to like make that much like of a difference. And he's like, how much of a difference could I make if I actually tried though?
Right, I think,
and the fact that like he thought of that just...
Yeah, it's you know, it's incredible. I really do resonate with this song a lot, and I don't necessarily care about like what other people say, because I know a lot of people out there are gonna be like, oh, you like 1-800, therefore you're not a real fan. But like, also at the same time, fuck you, I am. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you still have Common Logic on that list, so like, you know.
I guess. There's a lot of really good tracks from different songs, like especially from the Young Sinatra days. My list is sort of split, like half of it is Young Sinatra days and half of it is album Logic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great tracks.
For me, it's just depends on the mood. Like if I'm in a hype mood, like I'll listen to like Nasty or The Spotlight, Flexecution, obviously. It's a classic.
I was never, when I first started listening to him, I was never a huge fan of his hype music, just because it's not for me. I'm not necessarily into that kind of rap, necessarily. Yeah. Like, unpopular opinion, Bobby Tarantino, the first Bobby Tarantino, was one of my lesser favorites in terms of his works, just because it's not the kind of music I personally listen to.
Okay, no, that's
but at the same time, Bobby Tarantino 2 was the track that the the sort of I don't. It's not an album, is it? It's like a mixtape.
It's a.
I don't know if it's an album.
I don't know
I
what
don't
it
think he
classifies
counts it
as.
as an album.
No, I don't think so either.
So I'll call it a mixtape, I guess. Bobby Tarantino 2 was the project for me that really elevated my taste in music and got me to go back and listen to Bobby Tarantino and appreciate it more. So
Yeah.
I've grown love for that side of music too. But at the same time, nothing beats like rapping over jazz / boom bap type beats. Like nothing beats
Like Young
that.
Sinatra 3.
Yeah, pretty much. It's I don't know. I love the jazzy feels. Like Man I Is my vibe. You know, tracks
Yeah,
like
that's
Man
a
I
good one.
Is. Any kind of like smooth sailing, jazzy music or jazzy instrumental. Yeah, that's I can listen to that all day.
My favorite songs by him is Life is Good on Welcome to Forever. And it's like a really mellow song.
Right.
And like I was saying before, like he's known for rapping really fast, but this one, like he's more singing, honestly. Like I think it goes fast for like one quick verse, but like for the most part, it's just a really mellow song, and it kicks.
Right.
He
One of
did the
my
same thing on Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
yeah
Like
with
the song.
yeah the actual song
Yeah.
yeah it's the same sort of vibe, right? And that too, I really resonate with songs like that too, that are just all about taking it slow and saying what you have to say, you know.
Or the intro to
Intro to Under Pressure is
Under
also
Pressure.
a great track. Yeah, I have that on my list somewhere. I don't remember where I put it. I put it as number 18. I have a list of 20, but I'm not gonna go in order. Yeah, for number 1, 2, and 3 was 1-800 Intermission and Common Logic / Midnight Marauder. For number 4, I had the Welcome to Forever title track and then the 9 to 5 follow up, because 9 to 5 kind of feels like the second half of the Welcome to Forever song.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the way it just goes from one track to another, I really
Yeah, his transitioning is crazy.
it feels like one song, and I know it's not, but it just feels like one song. And it's one thing I love about his newest album, is that everything comes back to back. There's like no break between songs, and I really like it.
What he's really good at doing too, what I realize he's really good at doing the feel good kind of song, like I don't know if you know the song As I Am.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the number one song other than 1-800 that's just made to make you feel better. Like he did it in mind to make the listener feel better.
Right. I think he succeeded.
And he's also really good
always
at just talking deep and talking about his own let's say anxiety or depression, and relating to other people's anxiety or depression, or just sad topics like Let Me Go.
Yeah, he's very
Nikki,
vocal about these sort of things.
Anxiety.
Yeah, he's very vocal about these sort of things, and I think part of the reason why I've grown to really love and appreciate his music is because he's not afraid to talk about these things, and he's not afraid to show weakness. And
Yeah, he's
yeah, exactly.
in so many songs he just talks about how he's just another person.
Yeah,
He doesn't
because
see
he
himself as above.
I mean, he is though. Like, I saw. Did you see that video the other day that was going around of I forget his name. I think it was Travis Scott, who went to like a McDonald's and he was surrounded by like hundreds of people.
Oh,
who were,
because
like,
he did
going
the
mental.
Travis Scott burger.
No, I didn't know the context, but yeah, like that's insane to me. The fact that like I get it, you idolize these people, but like they're just another person. Why can't you just treat them like you would treat your neighbor? You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy to see that many people go nuts over a guy just walking out of a store.
If you saw him in person, would you ask him to take a picture? Logic? I'm talking about, yeah.
I don't think I'd ask him until like the very end. And
So
like
you'd start off with the conversation.
I would start off by thanking him for what he's done for me, and for what I've learned through him, and for what I strive to be because of him. And I would do my best to have a conversation. Obviously, I wouldn't like berate him with questions or anything, and obviously it depends on what he's doing. You know, I wouldn't want to bother him if he were like having supper with people or whatever. But if I were to like see him in the street, yeah, I would definitely take my time to really thank him.
Yeah,
You know?
like if I saw him at a restaurant, like maybe I'll just go up to him and like, okay, not now COVID, but like I was gonna say shake his hand, but
Right.
give him a fist bump and like just go on with my night, not to be that guy that just, you know.
Yeah.
But like walking up to him in the street, first of all, I'd ask him what the fuck he's doing in Montreal.
I would too. Like, the
And
fuck
then-
you doing here? Why would you come here of all places? I mean,
Yeah,
thank you,
then
but
I would
why?
tell him how he's one of my favorites in the game.
Right, 100%. He is my one of. I mean, in terms of hip hop, rap, or whatever. I mean, it's not a genre I necessarily listen to very regularly.
For me, it's him and J. Cole, which I love because they both have so much love for each other.
Right.
So, like Logic constantly shouts him out.
Yeah, Logic is number one for me, mainly because I'm a little like sort of ignorant to hip hop, so I don't listen to it very often, so I don't have much to say on who's favorites or whatever. And I don't listen to it very often aside from him. He's the constant that I always go back to.
Wait, you've listened to J. Cole's feature on Everybody, right?
He had did he have a feature?
It's hidden at the end of Africa.
It's an early track, right? Like one of his earlier tracks.
No, it's on Everybody.
No, I know, but the J. Cole part on that song and at the end of
I think it's the very last African.
Yeah, but it's like a sample of like a younger J. Cole, right? It's like a.
Oh, that I don't know.
I'm not sure either. Like I said, I don't.
But I know it was like hidden in the song, and it's funny.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's just he's just I don't know. He's a great person, and the thing I want to avoid if I ever were to meet him was to bother him. Right. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to bother him. But if I were in a situation where, I could potentially have a conversation with him, I would have that conversation. I don't think I'd ask for a picture because I'm not the type of person to like post to social media right away. I don't really post to social media often.
I don't know if I would post it, but I would just want that photo.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I don't think I would post a photo or anything like that. I don't even think I'd ask for a photo unless he was like, "Do you want a picture?" Maybe I would agree to that, but I don't think I think I'd be too much in my own head about thanking him or whatever that I'd completely forget to ask for a picture.
Yeah.
Right. You have any other favorites?
Songs. Dead Presidents 3 is that's just a masterpiece.
Yeah.
In my head, like Under Pressure.
Yeah, Under Pressure was my next one.
Another one of my favorites, Lord Willin'.
Yeah, that's a great track. Incredible True Story once again. There's so many good tracks. Oh my god, there's so many. I'm looking at my list of 20 and I'm already thinking of like ways I can integrate different songs into that list and extend it.
Yeah.
I have Never Been at 6. I really like that song. I had Under Pressure at 5 and Never Been at 6. One of them that stood out to me a lot was I Made It from Undeniable.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a great track. I don't know, there's so many
shows.
Yeah, there's so many like lines between
His
these
passion
songs that are so good. Yeah.
To the game and getting a fan base. One song that sticks out the most for me is I think it's on that same mixtape. It's called Worldwide.
Right.
It's where he's just like thanking the Rat Pack, and he goes back and he has recordings of phone calls from fans, like messages.
Yeah.
And he just shows like how it, like even back then it was worldwide. And I just thought that was really cool. Yeah, he must have had like 50 fans on that one song.
Didn't he do the same thing on Young Sinatra 4? Or am I?
Yeah, he did.
He did it with was it? No, it wasn't Last Call. It was the first track on the album.
Thank You.
Thank You. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he did it again.
Yeah,
that's true.
Callbacks on callbacks. I love callbacks. I don't care if it's repetitive. I love the callbacks.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, there's so many good lines and good like the message of all of these songs are so good, and the way he describes them and the way he puts them into light, right? It's, I don't know. I resonate with it so much. I resonate with his music so much, and I really respect him for taking the time to not only talk about it but make it like sort of worth his time, because he doesn't have to, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he could financial wise, he could have just released Bobby Tarantino 3, 4, 5, 6, and you would have been good, because everybody would have bought that, because that's what everybody's into these days, you know, that sort of trappy turn up music. But the fact that he takes his time to make what he wants when he wants to, I really respect that.
Yeah, he talks about that on No Pressure. I think Celebration. He talks about like how people had told him, "Oh, you should do this, do that," and he's like, "I'm gonna do it my own way."
Yeah.
I gotta know the exact quote, but he had mentioned that in that song.
Yeah.
And for sure, he could have definitely just like went more mainstream or just done what other people said they preferred from him, but he really always did just what he wanted, what he felt like writing, what he was passionate about.
Yeah, and it shows. I mean, his in my opinion, like he has a line on I'm forgetting what track it is. Is it the No Pressure track where he says, "Fuck what you heard, my catalog, it ain't got no whack shit"? I agree with that.
That's in.
I don't care what other people say. I agree with that. If you're making music that you want to make, then you know, and you don't have to necessarily appeal to people by making something you don't want to make, then
that's
you're
in
entitled
Five
to believe
Hooks,
it.
I think, if I'm not wrong.
Isn't I don't think it's no. I think it's in the No Pressure title track, the first track of the album. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, maybe.
Wait. I no, it's throwing me off. It might be in shit. No, I don't think it's in it's throwing me off. It's gonna bug me now. It might be an Open Mic.
I'm currently looking it up right now.
I think it's in Open Mic, the first half, the Open Mic part. I for some reason I'm picturing that beat.
It's in Open Mic, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I was picturing the beat behind those lyrics. That's why it was like I was pretty sure.
You know what I found, like how I interpreted that song? Like especially like the first half.
Okay, go.
Like we're just the live audience, and he just gets really deep, and he talks about his struggles. Like if you go back to the song, and you hear the live audience on the track, I interpreted that as how he basically put his, like what he did with No Pressure. He put his personal struggles on display in his songs that to be listened to by millions.
So he's literally like presenting it to an audience. It's like the literal meaning behind it is that he's actually presenting it to people.
That's how I interpret, because it's the same thing essentially, right?
Yeah. And I love the contrast behind when you get to the second half, the Aquarius 3 part. He's like gone from the audience and he's just talking about how he's leaving.
And he explains why he's...
Yeah. That's actually it's on my list of my favorite tracks, Open Mic / Aquarius 3. I have quite a bit actually from No Pressure that made my favorites.
Oh yeah, No Pressure was definitely a very strong note to end on.
Yeah. I think it might be top 3 for my favorites. It might
favorite projects.
It might take that third spot. Maybe 4th with if I feel more bar heavy, I might put Undeniable before it. But if not, then it's definitely top 3 or top 4 in my opinion.
I'm a fan of the Bobby Tarantino's, but I don't know if I would put it under it necessarily. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would put it on top. I don't know if I would necessarily put it like below.
Yeah, same. I mean, I really like Bobby Tarantino too, and a part of me wants to put it top 5, but I'm not sure if I would put it top 5. You know, and that's just my personal preference. I'm not saying it deserves to be top 5 for everybody. I'm just saying,
It depends.
personally,
It depends your mood.
yeah, it's always switching. Everything's always switching.
Yeah,
Right.
which is his goal, right? He
Yeah. I
he
mean,
even says
versatility.
like no album is the same, no two albums are the same,
Yeah, and it's true.
and the fact that we're having so much difficulty placing the albums, ranking them, just proves them right.
Right.
My favorite track in No Pressure, personally for me, is Hit My Line.
Yeah.
He
That's a great
touches on
track.
some of the current events, or at least that's how I interpreted it.
I find it fascinating. I was listening to his interview with Hard Knock TV about that
Okay.
song, and I love how he was talking about, like, he wrote this song before quarantine and before the whole situation that happened in 2020. He
BLM
wrote it
movement.
last year. Yeah,
Okay.
he wrote it last year, and the fact that people are like, "Oh, I'm so happy you're touching on this subject and whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I touched on it, but I wrote it before it even happened because it's been happening."
Yeah, see, exactly, because I knew it was already something. It felt like it was written for it. Like, that's how
Yeah, sorry.
relevant it felt.
You cut out. Do you want to repeat that, please?
Yeah, I said, basically, when I listened to it, like, I knew it's talked about in the past, but it sounded so relevant. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's a great track. Everything that goes into these albums, I appreciate, and I take in every song and I listen to it over and over and over again, and I just appreciate every line, everything.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think the only feature is Silas on Celebration. If you don't count the what do you call it?
The Alan Watts and the voiceovers there.
Yeah,
I know he had-
Orson Welles, and also in Heard
Yeah.
Him Say, I think, what do you call it? The sample on Heard Him Say.
Right. Okay.
If you don't count those, like, Silas is the only feature, I'm pretty sure.
I know he had. Yeah. I mean, he always brings back Alan Watts. He had Alan Watts in Undeniable. I think he had him in Welcome to Forever too, and he had him again in Dark Place, and then he had Orson Welles for the intro and the outro.
Which, that was really cool, too.
Right. I love the concept. I love the opening of No Pressure with Orson Welles introducing himself, but Logic puts his name over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Hitchcock in Music to Be Murdered By, which was Eminem's latest album.
Yeah, it reminded me of that, too.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of that type of like, if you're creative enough to do that, I'm a huge fan. I'm already sold on it.
The only thing that kind of disappointed me, like, it's unfair to say disappointed, but, like, that's kind of like how I felt when it came to the last song, Obediently Yours. I was like, okay, this is the last song from Logic I'm ever gonna get, and it was just straight up an Orson Welles speech. Like, it was really cool, but then I just realized, I'm never gonna hear anything new from Logic ever again.
I didn't feel that way, actually. I felt the complete opposite. I thought it was the perfect note to end
Like,
on.
after I listened, yeah, it definitely was, but after listening to Amen, it's like I was ready. I was expecting one more song at least.
Yeah. At first, I wanted another song, but then, when I went to go re-listen to, basically the whole album, I went to go re-listen to it. The part that solidified Amen to be like, okay, this is the last Logic song, and it
Was
and it felt
Obediently
like,
Yours.
no, not necessarily. I know. I'm saying, like, the fact that Amen was the last actual song on the album, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, to me, it solidified its place as the last song when he says, "Keep it real, Bobby Boy ain't no kid no more," and
Oh, yeah,
that's
for sure.
that's when it hits you. It's like, holy shit! Okay, yeah, this deserves that spot to be the last song we ever hear of him. Song. I mean, I'm sure we'll hear more, but
Oh yeah, it was definitely a good, like, farewell to the
Yeah.
game. And
it's a great track. I mean, the whole album was excellent in my opinion.
what did you think of A to Z?
I really liked it, but at the same time, it's one of those tracks where it's like, I feel horrible for thinking this, but a part of me wished he didn't do that scheme. Part of me wished he had picked another song from his, thousands of songs that are unreleased, right? But at the same time, when I go to listen to it, I don't dislike it. I still love it. I still love the concept. I still love, Baby Bobby at the beginning. I still love the fact that he actually gave us a glimpse into how he started with like his demo at the end of the song. I still love the track, but when I first listened to the album, that was the one track where I was like, oh, I wish I was replaced with a different track.
Oh, see, I was worried when going into the song. I was like, okay, I really hope he doesn't emphasize the alphabet too much. But to me, it was just like a really good song. Yeah. Like, I find if you showed it to someone without telling them like the name was A to Z and like that was like the premise, like they probably wouldn't even realize what was going on.
Right.
Like he made it so seamlessly.
Yeah, I think it's another track that just shows you how skillful he can be when he wants to be. Like he has some really good lines in it.
Or what did you think of Dark Place?
Dark Place is one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah, that has to be my second favorite.
I think it's my third favorite. Five Hooks was my favorite on the entire album.
And it's funny, Dark Place, like it took me a couple listens to actually feel it.
Yeah. On my first listen, it felt a little odd for some reason. I don't know why I kept thinking of this, but every time I would hear him, it felt a little odd because it didn't necessarily sound like he was on beat. But then the more you listen to it, you realize like there's actually a change in beat halfway through the song.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's one of those songs that it doesn't necessarily, it's not meant to hit the points it's supposed to hit, in terms of like hit the beat at a specific line or whatever. It's just meant to vent, it's a vent song kind of.
Yeah, for sure. And like I find the first half, he just talks about his own personal struggles, and even with writing, about how that stresses him out. And then the second half of the song, he kind of focuses on just like how he doesn't put himself on a higher pedestal than his fans. How he just relates to other people. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, the line that always stands out to me in that song is it's deeper than the surface. I'm searching for purpose. I'm tired of searching on logic on Google just to see that I'm worthless. That hits. That's the line that hits.
Yeah, because if you were famous, you would I feel I would definitely Google myself all the time.
I feel like I definitely wouldn't want to, but I feel like there would be times where I would do exactly that,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of, I don't know. There's on No Pressure, The Incredible True Story, and Under Pressure. There's not a single song I dislike.
Oh, what about the second half of Soul Food 2? Not to dismiss the first half, it was really good. I think that's my favorite half of the song. But then the second half, it was a continuation of The Incredible True Story.
Yeah, where he recaps the whole story. I was really excited when he was first going into it because I thought he was going to end the track with a skit, or not a skit, but like a concept,
Yeah.
Like a sort of like what Africarian did with the story. I was really excited that he was going to have a little something at the end, right? Like a sort of epilogue to an epilogue. I wouldn't use the word disappointed. I was a little sad that we didn't get it, but at the same time, it's not necessarily necessary right there, the whole album, I know a lot of people wanted Ultra 85 and they wanted the conclusion to that story, and so did I. But this album it's meant to be the album where it's like, hey,
but
you don't need a definitive...
he kind of did.
Yeah, it's a conclusion to his it's a conclusion to Logic, the artist. It's not necessarily a conclusion to the story, right? But at the same time,
it was a bit of a continuation. There was some bars in there that were after The Incredible True Story, where they actually land and come off, and he said they saw aliens or something.
Yeah, But yeah, but like I was saying, this whole album feels like a conclusion to the artist, not a conclusion to the story. But at the same time, the story doesn't really need a conclusion. I think it ended at a relatively good spot. They found the place they were looking for, and now they have the next chapter of the story to go into, which doesn't necessarily need to be told, right? I mean, I would love for it to be told, but
I
it
found it
doesn't
interesting
necessarily
what
have
you
to.
said about how we didn't get Ultra 85. There's some people that consider No Pressure to be Ultra 85,
Right.
especially with
The end of Heard Him Say.
heard him say, yeah, where it says welcome to
Yeah.
Ultra 85.
Well, the reason why I say we didn't necessarily get it is because I'm sure a lot of people expected, the Ultra 85 album, right, or the Ultra 85 project,
Yeah.
which is what people didn't get. But in terms of the concept of Ultra 85, I do think this album was that concept, regardless of the story not being there. This album was that concept,
If this wasn't his final album, I would have thought that Amen was like the intro to Ultra 85, and it would have been like something like J. Cole did with the fall off at the end of KOD. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
He basically put the intro to his next album as the last track of his previous album.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And I
think
thought
heard
he was
about
doing
that
this.
in an
I thought he
interview.
was doing the same thing with Amen. Like right before that song came, it says "Welcome to Ultra 85,"
Right.
and that was like the first track. But considering this is his last album, unless he's surprising us one more time, I don't know. But he seemed genuine in the live stream, so I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, I'd be a little surprised if like 5-10 years down the line he dropped something. I would be a little surprised because this does seem like a conclusion, right?
Yeah,
And you can tell he's in a.
it would be too perfect to just keep adding to it.
Yeah, I think he's in a position right now where he's obviously happy. He's obviously glad. He's obviously moved on from creating these projects. Although he still has all those unreleased songs. I don't think we'll get a new project from him. I do think he'll drop like a feature on someone else's track or whatever. I do think that will happen.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna completely disappear from the game, but as for everything else, he's pretty much retired. Like he explains in that, like his life is not carefree as it used to be. Now he has responsibilities. He has a son.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he even says in that song, maybe it's another song, maybe I'm just quoting, that he says like, "When am I supposed to have a hard life a second time?" Like he already told his story. So it's not just all because he has a family. It's just he told his story, and that's it.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he's in a good place right now, and I not to sound like selfish or whatever, but I'm certainly happy with where he's left off, and with this being his final project. I'm not in a position where it's like I want more from him. I'm satisfied with what we got, and I'm satisfied this is the conclusion, and I'm happy it's the conclusion for him. But that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple years from now he decides to not necessarily drop a project, but he's just like, you know what, I don't care anymore. Just take this thing. This
Everything unreleased.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna drop everything. I don't think he's gonna. But I wouldn't be surprised if one day he's just like, I'll just drop this single just for fun, or I'll drop like this beat tape for fun, which I know he's making. Yeah, he said he was gonna make a.
Yeah, isn't there a petition for him to drop a mixtape or something?
I'm pretty sure there is. I have to go look that up. But I'm in a position right now. I know that a lot of people want him to drop more music, right? Because that's what the petition is for. To which my answer, Logic, if you're watching this, sup. But at the same time, my answer to that is, don't feel forced to drop anything. You're in a position where you don't have to. You said your goodbyes. You don't necessarily have to appeal to an audience anymore, unless you really want to. I don't think you have to listen to these people anymore. And I know that's like shitty to say, like don't listen to your fans or whatever. But you're doing all of this other stuff. You're on Twitch. You're interacting with people. I don't necessarily think you owe these people any more than what you're currently giving them.
Definitely not. And for sure, I just think that, like I said before, he's told his story. I find anything more, I think forced would be the wrong word, but kind of. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Where you're just juicing more content just because you're being demanded for it. But I think he even talks about it in a Dark Place, where he has trouble writing now because he has expressed all of what he's gone through in his life. And I think he hit a point where, like you said, he's happy, he has his family, and he feels he could finally move on to another chapter. And if he would have just continued dropping albums, maybe it just wouldn't have been as rewarding or satisfying for him anymore, because he knows that he has done what he has had to do for the rap game, and now it's time to move on.
Right. Do you have any hot takes? Do you have any Logic hot takes that will, potentially upset people who, click on this video?
I have one that will probably upset you.
Me? Why would it upset me?
Because I know you. Anyway, my least favorite album by him is what do you call Supermarket.
Really?
Like, I don't even consider it an album.
Wow, that was my hot take. I love Supermarket.
Yeah, I know. I know. Like you've told me before.
Yeah.
I definitely liked Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, I love the concept, making a soundtrack for your book, and it was a completely like alternative genre for him, and he definitely did a good job at it. Like, he has a very good singing voice. It's something like I have said multiple times. He has a very good singing voice.
Facts.
And he proved it in Supermarket. But he did step out of his comfort zone, and I'm not discouraging him from making another album like that. I'm just saying, like, it showed that he did step out of the comfort zone, and therefore it just wasn't as good as, let's say, his rap content.
Yeah, because
you get what I'm
trying
to say?
something new. Yeah, he's trying something new. He hasn't.
Well, obviously, if he kept going at it, I think he definitely has the potential of making really good alternative songs.
Right. I like to think of it as Logic's mastered his craft when it comes to rapping, and singing is something he not necessarily needs to work on. It's something he can work on if he wants to. But personally, I love Supermarket. I mean, By the Bridge is a great song for me because I can see the Red Hot Chili Peppers resemblance. I can see the influence from all of these different songs.
Oh, for sure, you could tell the difference.
Time Machine is a vibe. I Love You Forever is a great song, in my opinion. I love the duality between talking from the guy's perspective and how insecure he is, and then from the woman's perspective in the second verse, sort of reassuring him that the insecurities are all okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not good. Like, I will give you that. It is a good album, but I wouldn't put it on top of any of his other projects, personally.
I personally, for me, I would put, because of Supermarket is it's a project that, like you said, it's supposed to be like a sort of a project that's meant to be for his book, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I really hope he does this one day, in the near future, or whenever he decides to do it. If he decides to adapt the book into a movie, I wouldn't be surprised if the only songs he used are these songs, right?
That would be pretty sick. Isn't he working on a movie?
Yeah, he's working on a lot
Abrams?
of things. Yeah, he's working on a lot of things. I mean, from what I understood from his Twitch streams, he has 2 other books that he's working on. One's a sci-fi book, and one's about bank robbery.
He played a character in The Last of Us.
Yeah, I saw that. I played the game.
Acted.
Yeah, I played the game, and I recognized his voice right away. And I thought he did a great job for his little cameo. He also, yeah, he's writing a comedy. Uh, he's writing two other books, and then he's doing a movie with J.J. Abrams, which I don't know if that's the comedy or if it's another project he's working on. But he has a lot that he's been working on, and I'm excited for all of it because I love the book Supermarket. I still read it to this day. I think I read it 3 times in total since I bought it. And obviously, when school finishes and I have more time, I'm gonna read it again because I love the book.
Yeah, definitely. He's a very clever writer.
Yeah, he's great at storytelling, and I like the fact that he doesn't restrict himself. You know, he's not shy away. He doesn't shy away from, swearing.
But he's always been good at
stuff
storytelling. Like he's even done it in his music, like a third-person story.
I know, but to integrate it into a book is, much different, right?
Yeah.
And I think he did an amazing
100%.
job. Supermarket is one of my favorite books I've ever read. And I used to read a lot when I was a kid. I haven't read as much as I wanted to now that, adult life is starting to settle in. But from the books that I've read as an adult, Supermarket is my favorite.
Yeah, he's like you said, he's working on all these other projects. He's definitely not gonna disappear.
No, I don't think so.
From the public eye.
Right.
So all the people worried about his retirement, like I'm not that worried about it. Definitely gonna be seeing his name around.
Right.
Like you said, either in features or in all these projects he talks about.
Yeah. I can't wait for what he does next, honestly. Like if it's a movie, if it's the beat tape, if it's another book, I'm excited for it all. I'm waiting for it all. And I'll continue to wait patiently.
I'm there for it all, and I'm there for it.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to end off right now. Do you have any other final thoughts you want to mention?
No, I think we hit them all.
All right. Final little thing. If you're watching this or not, thank you, Logic, for everything. Thank you, Bobby, for everything. Enjoy retirement. Enjoy the married life, enjoy the father life, enjoy Twitch streaming, enjoy everything that, just basically whatever you plan on doing in the future, I hope you enjoy it, basically. You deserve that much at least. Thank you for your years of service in the music industry. I hope nothing, I wish you all the best. I wish you and your family, Big Lembo, everybody you
Big
associate
Lembo,
with.
I say what's up. I was about to say that.
Everybody you associate with, I wish all the best. So thank you for everything. That's all I have to say. I think this is a good place to end it. Actually, one other thing I want to mention, just because I thought it was funny. Logic was definitely like the biggest influence on my life in a long time. In terms of people I strive to be like, in terms of the message I want to promote, in terms of
a role model.
In terms of a role model, he's definitely the biggest role model I've had in my life. He got me more interested than I already was in the my path that I want to go in the future. And I think it's really funny because unironically, listening to Confessions of a Dangerous Mind made me go, hey, I write screenplays, I write short stories, let me write songs. And then I started writing rap songs, and now I have like 15 on my phone that are just like for fun, just because like his versatility makes me want to be more versatile, right? So I thought I think it's funny that like completely out of nowhere, every time I listen to his music, it motivates me to want to do more and to want to be more, right? And I always say this, like, Logic has that presence in my life where, yes, if I do become successful in any way, I will owe it 100% to him, I always say it, if ever I get an opportunity to, like, I don't know, I win an Oscar or something, I don't know, any sort of opportunity where I'm placed on a platform and I have to thank people for where I am today, Logic would definitely be the first person I thank. I owe
That's
everything
deep.
to that man. Yeah, I owe everything to him. He's definitely the biggest inspiration in terms of what I want to be, how I want to do it, and I hope one day I get to thank him in person. But I will definitely thank him elsewhere. You know, whether it's like on an interview, whether it's on like a radio, you know, whatever it would be, whatever I go, wherever I go, he's the first person I'm thanking. Yeah, and that's all I got to say. So, you have any final thoughts before we close this up?
Goddamn.
Goddamn.
No, for sure. Like, he's definitely one of the first I'll go listen to whenever I need that extra push or motivation for whatever I'm doing. And I think his versatility is definitely motivating and inspirational. So I definitely get where you're coming from there. Like, whenever I'm studying, like, I mainly just listen to his songs because it just, I don't know, I find it puts me in the zone. And
I listen to his instrumentals. I go on like YouTube. I have a folder on YouTube with just Logic songs,
we
but all
forgot.
of the
What's up,
instrumentals.
6?
Yeah, shout out Six, man. That man's a fucking
Shout out
genius.
6.
He's a genius. I don't know. It's crazy. That's all I gotta say though. Just, you know, I wish you specifically the best, Dom. I wish Logic the best and everybody he associates with. And that's all I gotta say.
Wish you
Peace,
the best
love,
too, man. Peace, love, positivity.
There we go. All right. I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
And yeah, I'm gonna sign off. Bye.
Ciao.